I spoke too soon. I haven't wrapped this up. I spoke to the Middlemarch people. They drove round and they're on this side of the river now. What they do is that their client is the Wildlife Trust. They collect the data and they see lots of interesting things. And she did say that we see lovely things in horrible places and go to the nice places and don't find anything. We were talking about the otters. She said they had seen otter signs underneath the bridge, so there were otters there. They wanted to know when I'd seen them. I guess you could collect this data with YouTube, right? Because people make YouTube videos when they see an interesting animal. But so I asked her, how do you hand the data on? I said, do you put it into some geospatial mappings? She says, yeah, we write a report. So they contracted to do a finished analysis, a report. The data points aren't part of the exercise. They're not deliverable. Even though somebody would be able to, if companies that do this, or individuals, or however it gets done all over the country were doing this, you would be able to infer things from it by looking again. If you just look at what's been done with earthquake analysis to work out what's going on in the core of the earth, because the number of earthquake stations has gone up hugely. You can now do a statistical, and if you believe in statistics, you can actually find out about this giant donut around the Earth's core, and then learn something about the magnetic poles, and maybe something about space weather and all sorts of stuff. So, how to do it at the ecological level? People in canoes, the canoe club, they go out, I presume every Sunday. They take boats and potter around the river. They're very close to the bank. They're very quiet. They're not necessarily up on all the wildlife, but you could change that. And I could go and try and get onto the committee again of Cambridge Canoe Club, and this is what I should have done when I was here, and then I would have stayed happily in Britain, and the Cam wouldn't have been reduced into a little trickle of dubious water. But I didn't, and it did. But you've got a long way to go before you get to the Rio Mapiri level, where there are no fish that you can eat in the river, and there are all these fish just turning up dead. And you don't know why the minerals are suddenly leaching out. I have no idea. It's a nice river though. There's some little towns further up from Gwenai. And further down. So, I don't know. Apparently Google are running out of file storage. So I was they asked me to get involved in Strawberry Fair, and I said no, make a documentary. And what I would do if I was trying to make a documentary about Strawberry Fair is I would build one of those Raspberry Pi Pico NAS units, network addressable storage, connect it to a Wi-Fi bridge and bring it along to all the committee meetings and let people have accounts and upload videos, just made on their phones and on cameras and whatever they've got around, and upload them into an image database, a photo image database, and make them available, and then find that brilliant bit of video editing software that allows you to just snap functors together and describe a series of video edits. So you fade into this from this at this rate on this curve, or this gamma curve, or whatever signal processing set of filters you can snap together out of functors. Put them in, it generates the assembly, writes out a file into a buffer, a RAM buffer somewhere, and then just jumps into the code, and that's your video stream. That's how it's supposed to work. And yeah, if you lose all your, maybe you can eventually plug your AI into the same system, and then but it would be nice just to start with, just to have a video editor that can run on a computer with only 4 gigabytes of RAM.